like I say, right now there is not a or not a chart per se that says someone is for or against life extension, but there's a big bill coming that will be coming up, the Stem Cell Research Enhancement Act, which certainly, in a at least a peripheral way, deals with life extension. Any information, I will be glad to get that out to anybody who emails us.
Yeah, one thing that we did, I mean, it was a couple of years back now, but we did have some success lobbying on the behalf of cryonics. In Arizona, there was some legislation that was going to be rather detrimental, putting LCOR underneath the regulation of the mortician industry, and they were very.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we were alerted to it. I'm not sure who caught on to it. Maybe LCOR people mentioned it, and then it spread, and we called and faxed and emailed all the members of the Arizona State Legislature, and it went down to defeat. So there was a success in a piece of legislation that was rather detrimental to life extension, and I think that if CEL could keep us up to date as well when there's beneficial or detrimental legislation, maybe we could help out in that regard.
Oh, sure. No, I would be more than willing. What you could do is just go to our website, sign up. You'll get on my mailing list. We send out a monthly newsletter, and it has all of the up-to-date information. If there's now what you were referring to with Alcor in Arizona, that was a state issue because states
it was just a state issue, but it was just state.
Right, but it's nonetheless important, very important.
Very important.
And it can. As you say, I mean, putting pressure on politicians does work. I mean, it can be frustrating, but I mean, we're one of the things that we're trying to do, what I'm trying to do, and I'm not. I'll see how it evolves. I would like to address the platform committee, both the Republican and the Democratic National Committee, before they put together their platform.
Oh, this year's platform, right?
Right, pushing for life extension.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
A plank on life extension.
It's a small step, but to get any mention of life extension on the platforms this fall, I mean, I think it would be very significant.
Oh yeah, and it would be extremely difficult. But also, what it will do, it will start getting the message out even further, and that's what we lack right now, and that's visibility as a movement, and the issue lacks visibility.
Yeah, you said we're just barely.
And that's definitely what we need, because I mean we've had problems. You have a very conservative administration there right now on these types of issues. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, and status quo type of people.
And the administration gets to appoint members, for example, to the Food and Drug Administration. Well, they're supposed to be neutral and objective. The reality is they owe, for example, the president, that's why they have the job.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I mean, there's no hidden meanings here. It's you gave me the job, I'm going to go along philosophically. And of course the president will appoint people who are philosophically consistent with him. I mean, look at the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
that's the easiest example that everyone should be familiar with. So we need to combat that. I mean, the Food and Drug Administration, for example, does have a profound impact on what can be given clinical trials, for example.
Okay.
And if we can't get our stuff up, we're in a lot of trouble.
Sure. Another question from a viewer tonight, and this is from, hey, Jerome. How you doing, Jerome? Just had to say hi to an old friend. Hey, he wants to know if you're convinced that it's going to take a Manhattan-style government project to get advanced life extension therapies, or if you think it'll come more from private enterprise, because it seems like private enterprise right now is kind of leapfrogging any type of government research, although I know many universities are funded through the government, and a lot of breakthroughs come in that regard. But do you think that it will absolutely take a Manhattan-style project in order to get the indefinite lifespans that we're talking about?
Well, I think, and we'll have to see how this evolves. Certainly private funding, venture capital, for example, would be good. But the problem, here's the problem. Nobody's going to give a lot of venture capital money into a project that will not be able to have a clinical trial because the Food and Drug Administration opposes it or doesn't recognize aging as a disease.
Right.
So if you come up and you've come up with this thought that, or you've done the work and you say, hey, can really end aging, hypothetically, let's say that. And all of a sudden, you go to the FDA, I need clinical trials on this, you're going to be prohibited.
I see. So
you're not going to be able to do it. And nobody's going to put no private equity or any private money is going to go into funding something that can't, at some point, be approved.
Yes, I see where you're coming from there. So even if there's a lot of progress on the private front, the government might get in the way.
Yes. Oh, they can be a profound impediment. I mean, stem cells is the greatest example of this.
Right.
I mean, obviously.
I guess so. Yeah.
And this is far more controversial than stem cell research.
Well, it is. I would have to agree with you on that part. As far as the stem cells go, the way I look back on it, it was 5 or 6 years ago that regulation went into effect. It could have been worse, is the way I look at it.
Sure. Sure, because the Congress is divided on it. Yeah, I mean, they're divided on it. They're never going to get anything really, really draconian against us. I mean, I know that, but they're going to make it. A lot of people there are going to make it as difficult as possible, and it's easy to manipulate the rules up there. Okay, especially in the Senate.
Okay.
So that's why. Right now, life extension is in such a form that it doesn't matter to them either way politically how they go, okay? Because it's not a big issue. If you put the top 100 issues, it wouldn't appear.
It wouldn't even get in the top 100?
Well, maybe the top 100. Okay, maybe the top 100, but not much more.
Okay.
And at any rate, if we can. I would love to move it up, and that's one of the things that we're obviously trying to do.
Sure.
And we need to publicize this issue. We really do need to publicize this issue. Once again, that's why I'm desperately trying to get this movie done and distributed all over.
Let us know.
I think it can have a tremendous impact. I mean, we have everything laid out for it.
Sure. And if you need any help promoting it, feel free to let us know at the Immortality Institute. We're good at promoting things.
Great.
On the advocacy side of the life extension. Another question from the audience, Johan asks, I know obviously you mentioned that it's not too far up on the radar screen of most politicians, but what about the presidential candidates this year? Have they made any suggestions about their views, or they haven't let it known about life extension at all between McCain, Clinton, and Obama?
That's a very good question. Yeah, let me tell you what we did. Actually, just last week, we sent out a letter to all three of them.
Oh, you did?
All three of them, asking them what their position is on that, and also bringing in what their position on stem cells is, because I already know that.
Okay.
But no, I did that. I tied it to that for the simple reason that everyone knows about stem cells, and I don't know how much or how little they know about life extension. Okay. But I waited until it was down to a few people for the simple reason. I mean, to send it to, Dennis Kucinich or somebody, Rudy Giuliani was ridiculous because I knew they weren't going to win anyway. But I waited till it got down towards the end. And I wrote a nice letter saying that, we do have a lot of members who are very interested and we want to distribute their positions. So hopefully I'll hear, in the foreseeable future, before too long. And like I say, that's part of the whole idea of going before the platform committees.
Okay.
But I mean, the key here is getting people involved and having them talk about it. I mean, if Obama and Clinton had people, they went to rallies, and they went out and said, somebody asked them, what is your position on life extension? And they would start responding. Take my word on that.
Right.
Also, there's something coming up that's they're trying to put together, you may be familiar with it, a Science 2008 debate.
Oh, really? I haven't,
yes.
I'm not sure if I heard about that.